What's up and welcome back. John Stark from MacTheMovieGuy.com, your favorite blind film critic, and today I'm reviewing The Ruse. This movie opens this Friday in theaters, actually in theaters, like multiple theaters, so it might actually play near you. Uh, it stars Madeline Dundon, Veronica Cartwright, and Michael Steger. And I was presented with an advanced screening of the film. It actually, yeah, it had, I'm ahead of the embargo. I have to sit on this until an embargo. And I wasn't expecting something like that from The Ruse. I'm going to be honest. It's not backed by a heavy hitter studio. Veronica Cartwright is arguably the biggest name here. And she's getting a little up there in age, but it was lovely to see her in something again. And I gotta say, I liked this movie. It does not have audio description, but that's probably its biggest barrier because The Ruse is fun. It's more fun than I thought it would be. It's more creative than I thought it would be. It's more twisty than I gave it credit for in the beginning when it kind of looked like it was presenting itself as something. Uh, the movie is called The Ruse, so obviously that's the thing that you're looking for, which kind of makes it sort of like, you're waiting for something. It's like if you walk into a movie called The Dead Body and there isn't a dead body yet, you're kind of waiting for there to be one, you know? There's certain the killer. Well, there is no killer here, so who's the killer? Um, when you sort of boldly address the thing that your movie is about and don't reveal it at the top, then people spend the movie waiting for it. You can't call a movie Shark and just never have just, I don't know, it's about a bunch of cowboys or something, and you're like, where's the shark? Is it a metaphorical shark? Is it a land shark? Where's the shark? So, how disappointing that would have been for a movie called The Ruse to not have a ruse. But luckily, it does. And that's half the fun. So, Madeline Dundon, I'm not familiar with any of her previous work. I actually thought she did a nice job here as Dale. Full, like, up to speed, competitive with A-list titles coming out of studios, competitive with the kind of talent that comes out of those, the A24s and Neons. I thought she carried her own here in what is this mystery thriller, ghost story, you know, homage to things that have come before. It even made me say homage and not homage. So, uh, okay, so Veronica Cartwright plays Olivia, who is an elderly woman who is in desperate need of home health care. And she goes through this service, and something happened to her previous attendant who just sort of abandoned her in the middle of the night, and she has all these needs. She suffers from like COPD, so she needs like an oxygen tank and all these other things. She doesn't not very mobile. Um, Former composer. There's something about her having like multiple homes, and now she has this. Based on the description that I got from the IMDb plot summary, something about her living in this, beautiful seaside home, but at the same time, I think we've overplayed how much composers make. That's the other thing that, I mean, I also work in music in real life, and she seems to compose like scores. So she would have to be quite a prolific composer for her to have like multiple homes and own a seaside home. Not just a classical music composer for, orchestras, like orchestral arrangements. We just don't live in an era that supports a lot of classical music and opera and stuff like that anymore in the way that we used to. 100 years ago, she would have been, the bee's knees and super famous. And she would have, anytime she premiered a new work, would have gotten the world's attention. That's not quite the same thing anymore. Now you kind of have to be John Williams, Hans Zimmer level to be a composer who can own multiple homes and live on the water. I think I get the feeling that was a bit of a stretch. It's a little nitpicky thing only because I actually know composers, and no, they don't make that much money. I laughed at the idea that she would own multiple homes. I was like, God, no. Good luck with that. um, so, oh God. I mean, you can own a home. I'm not saying they're poor. These aren't poor people, but the idea that they're like crazy rich was kind of funny to me. Uh, and so Dale stumbles into this thing, and there's Olivia's talking about Albert, who's her husband, who visits her, and there's a seat that's for Albert. And have you seen Albert? Well, Albert's doing this. Well, Albert's obviously not there. So Albert's obviously dead, and Dale is, but she's dealing with a patient that has been diagnosed with dementia. So it's not really that strange for her to say that uh, that Olivia is having these conversations with her husband when she's supposedly also kind of losing her mind a little bit. So uh, that helps to build the story. She does get to call a boyfriend a couple times on the phone. He doesn't, you know, uh, she's respectful enough to not be like, yo, come on by. I mean, she's really like all about the work and trying to make sure she gets this right. There's a reason for that, which will open up in the later part of the story, which I'm not spoiling this movie for you. Um, so other main characters are the one that Michael Steger plays, and he's from The Chosen. So if you came here because you saw Michael Steger and you're like, oh my God, is he? Well, this isn't a religious movie, so he's stepping outside of his comfort zone, and he's playing the neighbor, which is fine, I guess. I mean, I wasn't like, he's probably my like least favorite thing about the movie, because one of the things that I would say going into the movie that gave me any trepidation as I was watching it was I thought I kind of, again, didn't give the movie enough credit and read him as being like, hi, I'm Mr. Obvious. I'm obviously unsettling. Why am I here? Who knows? I mean, there aren't like a ton of characters because it's an indie movie. It can't afford to have like a whole bunch of random people showing up all the time, like a whole bunch of different people. It's interesting how many people they did squeeze in, because there's like a food delivery guy that shows up. There's a police officer later on. There's another nurse. So I mean, like there are like already a bunch of people, and he has a kid, a daughter, and then there's also that, when you're in like a horror movie, it's like, is this a creepy kid or is this a safe kid? Also, totally, my mind entered like, what if the kid is dead? You're always waiting for something with kids in these types of movies. You're like, maybe the kid is not to be trusted, you know? So, again, when the movie's called The Ruse, you kind of look for it literally anywhere. And still, within that, I thought that by the time we get there, there were parts of The Ruse that I didn't see coming. There was The Ruse, and there's a character that sort of lays it out for you and explains it all, because it needs the, did you catch that? Did you get that? Well, we found this out. Well, this means that. And it kind of felt like a little bit much, because I don't think an audience could ever possibly have picked up on all of the little clues and connected all of the dots. But then again, I don't have audio description, so I don't know what we saw and didn't see in terms of visual clues, and how to connect things together and where things were. So uh, I kind of think it might be a little too, but sort of the creativeness of how everything was maneuvered and set up, uh, when you get in the back half of the movie, is just sort of like kind of amazing. and I didn't give it enough credit for that. It was kind of like, and it mostly works. It's a fun movie. I had fun with this, especially like as the movie kind of gets going and gets its steam, and then I sat there at the end and I was like, you know what? That's an ending I didn't see. I did not predict that in the way in which it plays out like that. Um, I thought I had Captain Obvious over here being the neighbor who's has I don't know, this is the way that he was acting. Michael Steger, the way that he approached his role. I sort of had that same vibe. Like there are characters that enter films and they enter them like every character there should read it as I can't trust you. Like I would read it as, "Hey man, you're giving weird vibes, man. I don't know." Not like, "Oh yeah, well, we should spend all day talking." Um I was thinking about like It's What's Inside, which is another really cleverly and inventive movie. But when that dude shows up at the house, at no point did I ever did he ever act like any sort of way where he was like, "Yep, just a regular dude, and this stuff is just happening to us." You know, I was like, his friend group can't really pick up on this. So yeah, sometimes the acting reveals a little bit too much. It's like doing one of those cheap murder mystery games, and you get the card that says that you're the killer, and you have to make it through the night and slowly like kill off all the people at the party while they try to guess who the killer is. But like you're really bad at it. I kind of felt like that's what Michael Steger was doing in the beginning. He was just giving off this weird vibe, but it doesn't necessarily mean anything for the totality of the movie. Not that I'm trying to reveal the ending or say whether he is or not, but I'm saying that's not the point. The point of it is to not to draw attention to him. That's just the way he's chosen to approach the character. I don't think he's necessarily trying to do something. I just kind of wish he had been directed in a little bit different direction so that he was a little bit less obvious and a little bit more of a passive character in the beginning so that he wasn't, because I don't think thinking about him early on helps the movie at all or distracts from the eventual ruse of it all. If anything, if he was a little bit more neutral and a little bit more approachable, other human being, it would have kind of played a little bit better. But instead, he kind of feels a little bit disconnected from everything. He kind of feels like a character who's having to live a lie within a lie. Like everything that he says to Dale is not true. He may not even be the girl's father. Like those kind of things. It feels like he's not really connected to the daughter. They don't really feel like father and daughter. He didn't really make like a meaningful connection to anything. It's just kind of like there. And it just kind of reads. Whereas like Dale, you know, makes meaningful connections with like everyone. Even the daughter, the little girl that's in this, they have a nice rapport back and forth, even though the daughter is a little weird. But again, I think she's just leaning into that. I'm in a horror movie and children are very creepy, oftentimes in horror movies for no discernible reason whatsoever. Her trope makes a lot more sense to me. Like, if she wants to be weird, I think she's just following that usual brand of, well, you can't trust children in these movies, especially when they're not the protagonist. Um, so yeah, God, I think you should see this. It doesn't have audio description, so if you're blind or low vision, wait and see if it has it. I didn't get it with my advanced screening, but like the infinitesimal amount of times that I get audio description with an advanced screening is so low. The world is not created for blind film critics. It just isn't. And I don't know if the world is ever created really for anything that we do as blind people, but that's kind of why I'm trying to do this, because this obviously is an opinion that's been lost to time, the concept that blind people watch movies. But damn, I like The Ruse. Is it perfect? No. There's something to be said about um, sort of working with uh, a I don't want to call anybody here D-list because it's like an alphabet range. You know what I'm saying? Like it's not they're not B-level actors. Veronica Cartwright is really good. It kind of reminds you of what she could have done. Where did her career go? You kind of feel like, why haven't I been watching her in a thousand things? Why is it every time someone says Veronica Cartwright, I only think of Alien? Like, where has she been? How do we get her in more things? Yeah, I thought she was excellent. And the girl playing Dale should level up, like get better offers, bigger films. I thought oh, she did really nice work. But yeah, sort of when in the supporting cast, the guys have different energy to them across the board. Although the police officer at times reminded me a little bit of Peter Sarsgaard. I don't know that that's a bad thing. He had vibes that reminded me of Peter Sarsgaard, the way that he delivered lines and everything, especially at the especially toward the end of the movie. He does a lot of explaining, and I felt very much like there was something that was very Sarsgaardian about the way that he was delivering lines. So I I'm gonna remember this movie at the end of the year. And that's the point. The point is, I'm probably gonna see over 400 movies, and which ones am I gonna remember? Which ones am I gonna like? It's not so much about the grade. Like, you can be an imperfect movie. It's, did I remember you? Did I like you? What did you give me? What did I leave with? Did I leave with the immediate desire to want to run and recommend to somebody? Or did I leave with the sort of like, that's all right. I mean, if you want to watch it, that's good. If you're looking for something to do, because I've done plenty of that where I'm like, well, that movie's fine. It's okay. I'm not mad at it. And then you have the movies that you are mad at. But this is not that. This is a delightful breath of fresh air. I didn't love the credits music. Kind of felt like for a movie that was heavily based in score, that we just kind of found music and slapped it on the end. Like there's their main character is a composer, and I felt like that was an excellent time to maybe play something that sounded like a classical arrangement that she may have written. I don't think that happened, but it could have been maybe like a nice touch to flip that out and be like, oh, maybe this is something that Olivia wrote. This is one of her prized possessions that she keeps locked away, from the world, that earned her apparently multiple homes. So, uh, I like this. I think you will too. If you're looking for something to catch in theaters and the reviews and everything else are looking sketchy and you're like, I don't know really what to do, this is a pretty typical murder mystery. It has a couple of cheap jump scares given. By the time you get to the end of the movie, you're going to be like, did we need that? I mean, I know it's trying to keep up the ruse, but I don't know. I don't know that we needed them. And they're all cheap. What I consider a cheap jump scare is anything that's not inherently scary, but if you throw like a loud noise behind it, it becomes scary. Like, that's cheap. A jump scare is earned. Good jump scares are earned. Cheap jump scares have to be supported by a loud noise out of nowhere, or they're not scary. It's like, I can be outside walking and suddenly somebody honks their horn really loud. It's gonna startle me, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you've gotten me. It's just a loud noise out of nowhere. So if it has nothing attached to it that is inherently scary, then it doesn't work. So it doesn't linger in a positive way. I just don't think the film needed it. I think the film was doing a great job of building thematically and mounting tension and doing a lot of things that I didn't think it was going to do. I was like, it's a movie starring Veronica Cartwright. I can't believe it's going to theaters. This is amazing. I was looking forward to reviewing what I thought was like a Tubi level movie. No, I like this. I just wish it had audio description so I could like land on a letter grade. I might be willing to go as like a high as an A minus. I mean, yeah, it's got a couple of problems, but it made me so happy. Like I liked the twists and turns. I think the payoff is good. Uh, I I think I can kind of understand. Like I could have a conversation with somebody who was like, I liked it, but I didn't love it. I could have a conversation with that person because I kind of see some of the things that you could be like, oh, well, there's that. And I've completely avoided spoiling the ending for you. So there's no ruse that has been revealed. But check it out. Think about it. Maybe it'll have audio description when it releases in theaters. That happens a lot to me where I just don't get it in a screener form and then it suddenly ends up in theaters. It doesn't have a major distributor attached to it. That doesn't always mean anything, but it often does. So, uh, yeah, the Ruse is definitely if I was on Tomato Meter, absolutely fresh. I just don't know what score I'd be able to give it because that needs sort of like a definitive. I need to be able to watch that with accessibility in order to give it a score. But this is a recommend. So if you're excited and you're like, should I watch the Ruse? Yes, I think it's surprisingly way better than I thought it was ever going to be. So and we need to first apologize to Veronica Cartwright for not giving her more work over the years. And then secondly, make sure she continues to get great work. So thank you for watching. Thanks for subscribing. Hope you enjoy the movie, and I'll see you guys on the other side.